Oh, hi, what's up? Today's review is Cabin Fever. I really like this one. I know not everybody loves it. I know some people are like, oh, Eli Roth, he sucks. I like it. I didn't always like it, though. It kind of took me a while to fully appreciate it for what it is. Because I did see it, when it first came out, or at least came out first to DVD. But kind of what surrounded it was quite a bit of hype. So that might have contributed to me not liking it so much. Like, if you'll remember, I mean, at the time, there was a lot of hype around it. This is 2002 when it came out. So, armchair horror historian here. But, is kind of before uh, the era where it was like everything has to be a remake, everything's fucking remake, and kind of just coming off, like the '90s. Let's put these trendy teen stars in some horrible slasher movie. So somewhere kind of caught in between this little tiny period of time, which, by the way, I mean, I do like the cheesy '90s horror kind of teen star kind of stuff. I have a spot for that. Though I wouldn't necessarily call it great horror, except for maybe Scream, though there's still a debate on that. But anyway, Cabin Fever, lots of hype around it, and yeah, I didn't really like it that much when it first came out. And if you'll remember, I know kind of what contributed to that hype quite a bit. Well, first and foremost, like, hey, this guy, Eli Roth, what's his deal? Who's this guy? Now we kind of know. So if you like him, you like him. You don't, you don't. Also, on all the advertisements, commercials, posters, Peter Jackson, his quotes were just all over advertisements for this movie. And I think they have it on the back here. This is an unrelenting, gruesomely funny bloodbath. I loved it, says Peter Jackson, as you'll see on the cover here. But also another quote that's not on this case here. Again, all the commercials is like, this is the film that horror fans have been waiting for. That I remember specifically what a lot of the little blurbs were saying about this movie. So, it had a lot of hype around it. And then, when I saw it, I was like, it's I don't know, it's all right. But I don't know. I guess I just wasn't quite ready for what it was, because it does kind of stand uniquely in horror in its own kind of way. Like, are we supposed to take this as, a legitimate kind of horror movie, or is it a horror comedy? It's kind of a little bit of both. There's definitely some stupid things about this movie, but that's kind of what I enjoy about it. I like its, somewhat cheesy nature, somewhat stupid nature. So I do appreciate that. And there was a period of time, probably, I'd say a couple years, maybe, like, if it came out in 2002, I probably saw it 2003. Didn't watch it again until, let's say, 7 or 8 years later, and then I really liked it. I really enjoyed it when I finally saw it again, and I've watched it more since then. I own the DVD now, and I really like it. So, general plot of the movie, you have the kids, of course, who go into the cabin in the woods. So you have the blonde girl, you have the brunette girl, you have the bro guy, you have the douche guy, you have Sean from Boy Meets World, and they're college friends, and they all go out to the cabin in the woods to get away from everything, drink some beers, and, maybe hook up, and, things like that. There's a whole subplot with Sean from Boy Meets World who, he's in love with the blonde girl and wants to, express his affection for her, and, the bro guy just, wants to shoot squirrels and stuff. So, whatever. I mean, they're not likable characters, but that's kind of the point. I mean, they're kind of stupid characters, so you don't always necessarily want likable characters, I would say. I mean, they're not hateable characters. They're just the stupid kids who happen to be in a horror movie, and too bad for them, because they're gonna die. That's pretty much it. So, the old, southern town, they have the staples of that, the creepy townsfolk who they run into, the little kid on the bench outside who's, like, pancakes, whatever, bites people, and, the shop owner who looks like he's, a rejected member of ZZ Top, and they throw in a little bit of kind of crude racist humor there, but they actually make up for that a little bit later. So meanwhile, the joke's on us about that the whole time. So that's kind of interesting too, when you think about that, how they kind of play with what we're expecting with the movie, because it's a more intricately woven kind of humor to it than I think it gets credit for. So I mean, there's all that, but basically, what kind of sets off the plot of the movie is that there's this infection going around. What is this? What's going on? Who gave it to us? There's this, kind of vagrant in the woods who has been infected, and they kind of think it stems from that, and they're slowly realizing that something out there is infecting them, and they're all at risk of being infected, and it's this disgusting kind of infection that they will get. It starts with like kind of like blistering and redness and bleeding and pussing and really disgusting, but really cool, disgustingly cool, I guess. So there's that, and basically flesh eating. Virus that picks them off one by one, so they're all in a scramble to try to isolate the problematic people. People are within the group are like showing their signs of infection and things like that. So it's all kind of about that, and you can pretty much expect what to happen in this movie. Each and every one of them kind of gets picked off one at a time. Then the townsfolk get involved. The hillbillies trying to shoot them too because they think the kids are responsible for it, and blah 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 blah. And I think it's good. I like it. I think it's enjoyable. I think it's a fun time. I think it does have a good sense of humor to it, but also very gruesome effects. And it is just this interesting kind of humor to it, very bizarre, very off kilter kind of humor that they do have to it, and I think it adds to the enjoyment of it just because it is a little bit more bizarre. Like you have the sheriff who's like 12 years old, who's like, I like to party. I like that. I like its bizarre humor, and you even get Eli Roth entering in a role, the pot smoking wanderer kind of, the wacky guy with like the soul patch, with his dog. Is like, oh, this is Professor blah, blah, blah. Oh, he's a professor? Yeah, he's a doctor of being a dog. Face! I thought that was funny. He's good in it. I think it's his best performance, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, stick to directing, Eli Roth. You're not a great actor, but we love you. So yeah, there's all that. The Sean from Boy Meets World is kind of the hero of the story. He's sort of the last man standing, but I don't want to give entirely away. And then ultimately there is a good twist to it, I think, where we're not quite sure what's the cause of this, but then we find out, and when you watch it again, okay, you see sort of hints to what the disease is. So I won't give it away, but maybe it's obvious to some people, but it wasn't obvious to me, at least when I first saw it. So there's that. So I think it's pretty good. And, good horror, but good comedy, and a very bizarre mentality to it, which I liked. And it's for the time. I mean, I would say even whether it's a horror movie, whether it's a political drama, anything. I mean, movies stand out for being kind of their time, and I think this movie is kind of its time, because like when you think about it, this is 2002. I mean, what was kind of on the pulse of people's fears, of concerns? It was like chemical warfare. It's like anthrax. It's like, hey man, I'm gonna get fucking anthrax in a letter in the mail, man. Osama bin Laden's gonna dump gas on everybody. Get your gas mask, man. But you know what I mean. There was a sense of paranoia about chemical warfare, things like that. So this is something a little bit unique. So it is like not a monster or anything. It's just this disease that's spreading amongst the stupid kids in the movie. So I think it is good. I enjoy it. I think maybe it's an acquired taste, but I really love the effects. I love the humor of the movie. It's very entertaining, very gruesome, and I think it's worthy of any October horror movie marathon. I think Eli Roth did a good job on this movie, so cheers to you, Eli Roth. So that'll be my review of Cabin Fever. Thanks very much for watching. More horror reviews to come. Comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching.